What it do, what it do, what it do. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers. This is great grandson.
This is Channel of We Rebuilding Me, another production by Roadblock Pod and GGCTV.
Now, police are investigating an attempted carjacking and robbery of a young pizza delivery man in Chestnut Hill who had his own gun and then turned the tables on the robbers. Around midnight on the 7700 block of Stenton Avenue, the 21-year-old pizza delivery victim told police that two guys in face masks force him back into the back seat of his car, rob him, but then he manages to get his own hand on his own weapon, fires off two shots, hits one of those suspects right in the back. That suspect is now in critical condition in the hospital. The second guy got away.
A video tonight of a drive-by shooting during a vigil in North Philadelphia that injured 5 people. Now, fortunately, everyone involved is expected to physically recover, and police have the suspect vehicle in custody. I'm Jason Martinez, and police do say they're still looking for the shooter or shooters here. Our Kelly Rule was in the neighborhood today, and Kelly, you have the very latest.
Yeah, Jason, so again, this shooting happened during a vigil for a 20-year-old man that was killed 2 weeks ago, according to police, only a block away. And according to friends and family in the community, the shooting happened only hours after his funeral yesterday. Now, today we talked to a number of people who are incredibly fearful of more retaliation, so they did not want to speak on camera, but they hope last night was the last of this. New surveillance video obtained by Fox 29 shows a gathering outside of a corner store at D Street and Wyoming Avenue before 9 last night. When a white Jeep drives by and people start to duck and run for cover, the moment Philadelphia police say 5 people were wounded in a drive-by shooting. A 17-year-old man, a 23-year-old man and woman, a 24-year-old woman, and a 68-year-old man.
It blows my mind. It's like this city is like, we need to stop doing this to ourselves. We want to build and grow better, and you can't do it doing stuff like that.
Police confirmed the shooting happened during a vigil, the aftermath still visible today, for 20-year-old Orlando Negron, who was shot and killed a block away on Wyoming Avenue back on July 5th. A 15-year-old boy was also wounded in that shooting. People in the community tell Fox 29 last night's vigil followed Negron's funeral during the day. Celso Baroa works in the neighborhood daily.
I've had a couple of customers that were related to the gentleman. And it was, unfortunately, it was just a sad story to hear. They were telling me the young man was just trying to break up a fight. You know, and unfortunately, things got out of hand.
Police say they found the shooter's vehicle, the white Jeep, shortly after the drive-by shooting a few blocks away on North 5th Street, abandoned, and recovered 3 guns inside, including a ghost gun. There was a visible police presence back at the corner into the afternoon today.
How long was it? One day? Tomorrow he's not here no more?
A man who identified himself as one of the shooting victims from last night but did not want to speak on camera was frustrated police were not patrolling at the time of the vigil. Commissioner Daniel Outlaw said last night police were not aware of it.
There was a vigil shortly after the previous shooting occurred on July 5th. We were out here, we had presence, there was no issues that night, but we were made aware of this vigil, unfortunately, after the shooting occurred.
And again, police say they had the suspect vehicle in custody. They were processing that for evidence today, but the investigation continues. If you have information, call the Shooting Investigation Group. Jason.
All right, Kelly Rule, Police Headquarters. Thank you, Kelly.
Only on Fox 29 tonight, we're talking with an 11-year-old girl injured in a shooting and her family. Thankfully, she's home from the hospital and recovering. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez. The girl was walking to catch a bus with her mom and siblings at the time of the shooting when police believe at least 2 shooters opened fire at a busy West Philly intersection last night. Our Kelly Rule spoke with her and her family. Kelly, how's she doing?
Sheba and Jason, fortunately, 11-year-old Peyton tells me she's okay. Now, she was grazed in 3 spots, according to her family, so she still has a lot of recovering ahead. They are so grateful this wasn't worse, but mentally, emotionally, they say they're traumatized and really angry this happened in the first place. 11-year-old Peyton smiles walking down the sidewalk with her mom, Carmen. A simple moment, but only hours before, her mom wasn't sure this would ever happen again.
I'm grateful she's not paralyzed. I'm grateful. because I get to see her face, I get to see her smile every day. I'm grateful.
The family asked that we only use their first names. Just before 11:30 last night, Carmen says she got off work and picked up Peyton and her younger siblings from childcare in West Philadelphia. They were waiting for the bus on South 52nd Street near Ludlow Street when they heard 3 gunshots.
Me and my girls ducked and ran, and that's when the rest of the shots just started ringing out. I heard my name being called, Mom. She was crying, screaming, telling me her back. And it was a bystander that I'm truly honest and grateful for. Grow up, people. You're hitting your wrong targets. She's 11, and we gotta do better. Philly, we gotta do better.
Philadelphia police believe she was hit with a stray bullet when nearly 30 shots were fired by what they believe was at least 2 shooters. A 32-year-old man was also shot in the leg and taken to the hospital, and a nearby car was hit where police say a 16-year-old was inside, but not hurt.
What was that like for you?
Peyton was treated and released from CHOP with graze wounds to her back, hip, and leg, according to her mom and grandma. How are you feeling?
Okay. We got kids that don't even want to play outside no more because they're scared, but they're not. They're gonna die. My 11-year-old should not have to tell me why did this happen to me. Mom, I'm sorry. I don't want to die.
Her family, traumatized and furious this happened in a busy area with children around on a path they've walked dozens of times. Peyton has a message for the shooters.
It's innocent kids out there that's not doing anything to them, so I don't know why they're doing that to us.
That's heartbreaking. Now, police say there are a number of cameras in that area. They were out there today trying to get surveillance video. If you have information, contact the Shooting Investigation Group.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Tonight we are learning more about a shooting that leaves a local rapper dead. 25-year-old Kevin Spady, known as Young Cheese, was gunned down in Albany.
It's hard to talk about this murder without mentioning hip-hop. Young Cheese was following in his father's footsteps, establishing himself as a rapper. So we spoke to the Philly music community, who's reminded again that something needs to change.
What do I say to a friend that just lost a son, and he's a great father?
This one hit home from well-known Philly producer Wiz Gam. He's close friends with Gilly the Kid and Unc to Young G's, who was murdered last night in Albany. While showing us some of his last text messages with his nephew, he realized he won't get another one again.
That's why I would get those random texts from him, of him saying, Unc, I'm gonna get with you. I need you to hear this music. And that's what we discussed, because that was something he loved.
Music not only connecting Cheese to his uncle, but also his father, Nasir Fard, better known as Gilly the Kid, a popular figure in Philly's hip-hop scene.
His sons, like, since they were coming to the studio in Batcave, running around, we would play with them and wrestle and run around. So I seen them as children to grow into men, and then to have their own children.
Gilly was definitely tapped into his family, and how he dealt with his children is incredible, and I'm very proud of him for that.
Devin Spady, who goes by his stage name Young Cheese, was in a rap group with his brother Mac, making them Mac and Cheese. Community activist Talia Taylor says the hip-hop culture is partially to blame for this violence.
Even with the rap murders, there's beef going back and forth. But that's the way the wave is. That's where our culture, the hip-hop culture is now. It's not real hip-hop. It's not real hip. It's just a whole murder scene.
We gotta be more accountable. We gotta have accountability. We have to be accountable to and step up and teach our young men that what we learned is wrong.
Gilly's father also co-hosts podcast $1 Million Worth of Game with motivator Wallow, trying to teach young people to stay out of the streets.
The world we came from is, it's a lie. There's no way out of it if you stay in it. So the game that they're giving these kids and these young boys is very valuable because they have lived it. We're gonna lose a whole generation if this keeps happening. We're gonna lose a whole generation of black men.
And while he knows his friend is hurting and will be for some time,
I know he's gonna find something from this to use into what he's doing. Somehow, some way, I think his message is gonna become even stronger.
and as of now, no one has been arrested for this shooting. Now, next weekend, Gilly also was throwing a large party with other celebrities coming to town to celebrate his birthday. Now, we all know Gilly's contagious laugh. I just hope that one day we get to hear it
Temple
again.
University safety once again top of mind tonight. A 20-year-old is dead. Another woman injured after a double shooting just blocks from campus. Good evening, I'm Dawn Timoney. One of the victims, a recent Temple University graduate. Our Eddie Kadam talked with neighbors who say this rash of violence hitting so close to the school is far too familiar.
Well, police are investigating tonight. The students and people who live in the area told me, unfortunately, this isn't the first time that they've experienced something like this.
That fits the description too closely to who I am. Like, that's when I get, like, freaked out, because that's crazy.
One of the victims in a double shooting, a 22-year-old woman who graduated from Temple in May. Police say she was shot in the leg and is being treated at the hospital. Now, Sydney McNeil, she's a senior at Temple and says she and her friend had to be escorted to her friend's apartment through the crime scene last night.
I stay on campus because of stuff like that happens. That this is my first time, like, seeing it.
Olivia Perea just graduated from Temple and lives a block away. She says, unfortunately, this isn't the first time she's been randomly caught in a crime scene in the area.
I was walking my dog towards 18th Street and we witnessed a shooting. But he's just a little dog, so he didn't understand. I was running and it was traumatizing. Like, definitely cried my eyes out. But there's been a couple times. There was even a time, like, a couple months earlier that I was coming home from dance practice with my friends and we saw a shooting at the same corner.
Mackay says he grew up around here and heard the gunshots and people running and screaming. And he's tired of seeing young people lose their lives over nothing. Come here, stop selling guns and like, that stuff like that. And when you sell guns, people gonna sell them to other people. You're gonna get killed. Police say no arrests have been made and no weapon was recovered at the scene. Temple University put out a statement saying they were saddened to hear about the shooting so close to campus and that counseling is available to any students that may need it. At Philadelphia Police Headquarters tonight, Eddie Kadam, Fox 29 News.
Violent and deadly weekend in Philadelphia. At least 3 people were killed and nearly a dozen injured. And that includes several police officers. One of them struck by a car while trying to disperse a large crowd in North Philly. Here's our Cheyenne Corinne.
And when it gets to this point, it's like, why am I not surprised? Like, you know, it's urban genocide at this point.
Neighbors reacting to yet another violent weekend in Philly with multiple people killed and at least 10 injured, including police officers.
Even what other cities are doing, like they enforcing curfew rules and stuff, they're putting kids in jail, they're taking them to the police station until their parents can pick them up or until they can be dropped off somewhere by police, you know. They're enforcing rules.
And police also say overnight they had to break up a large group of people gathering here on Broad Street. Just take a look at these tire markings left from several cars doing spin-outs. Now this also happening near Temple University and this Sunoco gas station.
It was, like, I finally registered, like, wait a minute, because it was kind of white noise for a bit. I'm just a block away, but then I was like, no, that's crazy.
Several officers also were injured while dispersing the crowd of nearly 500 people. One was hit by a car, causing a broken ankle.
And what's really sad is the city's starting to become accustomed to this. This is the norm, and it shouldn't be the norm. We need to get a hold of the city. We need to go back and the basics, law and order, and start doing it, the job, even with the undermanned people that we do have.
One of the shootings happened in North Philly when a man on a dirt bike reportedly shot and injured a man and woman. 3 people also were shot, including a woman with special needs in the Grays Ferries neighborhood.
Our officers are followers, and we need the leadership to step in, give the support to the police, and let us do what we need to do to get this back under control, because it seems like a recurring theme every week.
A man in his 20s also was killed near Temple University. Jeremiah Pratt works in that area with kids and says being engaged in community programs can help them stay safe and out of trouble.
Young people need more experience and stuff like what I'm doing right now, to be honest. Like, young people should be learning how to develop their minds, develop activities.
No arrests have been made in any of these shootings. Cheyenne Corinne, Fox 29 News.
And Mayor Jim Kenney releasing a statement about the Broad Street crowd, saying in part, quote, "I wish the police officers who were injured last night a speedy recovery, and I am, as always, very grateful to the officers who put themselves in harm's way every day to protect the public and keep the peace."
Police are investigating in Lehigh County after officers were involved in a deadly shooting. Investigators say Allentown police officers responded to a call early this morning about reports of a man waving a gun. Our Jennifer Lee is there, and what can you tell us, Jen?
Well, this deadly officer-involved shooting happened right behind me here on West Turner Street. We spoke with several people in this neighborhood. They tell me this man was living on the street, and a few of them considered him a friend.
I said, oh my God, how did this happen, you know?
Skyfox capturing the yellow evidence markers in the aftermath of a deadly officer-involved shooting in Allentown. Many neighbors waking up on Monday to streets shut down for the investigation would soon realize the 27-year-old man killed was a familiar face. Seen here on Facebook, the Lehigh County Coroner's Office identifying him as Dominic Hogans. Several people say he was experiencing homelessness.
It's a person, you understand, I say hi to everybody every morning, you understand? And suddenly, he's gone.
The deadly officer-involved shooting started when Allentown police officers responded to a call just after 3:30 a.m. for a man waving a firearm. Hogan's allegedly ran on foot and fired at officers, which is when police returned fire, killing him. Jeffrey Kleckner has been helping people experiencing homelessness in Allentown for the past 6-7 years, handing out food and free government phones and tablets.
He's pretty much a daily person that walks by and panhandles sometimes, but I've never had any problems with him. He's come for phones over the past, and I've helped him. I've never seen him give anybody any trouble.
By all accounts, Hogans wasn't known as a violent person, leaving many with questions about the lead-up to this deadly shooting.
That comes out like that, just, he's not here no more. It's sad.
Multiple agencies are investigating this deadly officer-involved shooting, including the Lehigh County Homicide Task Force. We're told that an autopsy will be performed tomorrow, and that might be the next time we get an update from the coroner's office. Back to you.
All right, Jennifer Lee, thank you. Developing tonight, dozens of shots fired on a car in the city's Feltonville neighborhood. The woman sitting inside did not survive, and it all happened in broad daylight around 6 tonight in the 500 block of East Loudon Street, right across from a busy playground. The vehicle hit 15 times, several of the bullets going through the windshield. The woman was shot multiple times and died at the scene.
We don't know why she was parked at this location in the 500 block of East Loudon, and she was sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle when we know someone fired at least 28 shots, because we found 28 spent shell casings from a semi-automatic weapon.
Police say the shooter was in a white SUV. At least one of the several surveillance cameras on the block captured the shooter.